It's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Oh my goodness, sorry about that. I was busy downloading lovely images. I was quite taken by them, actually. Nuno Mendes from Winsurance has sent us some pictures from the last weekend of campfires and that wonderful outdoor Bear Grylls-y stuff that he does. So hopefully we'll be bringing those to you during the show this morning. It is, of course, Consumer Tuesday here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream show and podcast from Expats Portugal with me, Carl Munson. Oh, and my email address is still the one from last night's proper radio show. Let me just put this right in here. carl@expatsportugal.com. If you want to talk to me, all complaints, admin at expatsportugal.com. How are you this morning? We will find out, won't we, in the chat in just a moment. But yeah, that was on there. carl@carlmunson.com is on there at the moment because we did a wonderful radio show every Monday evening now from 7:30. Me and the T-Duck moving away from all that boring politics and conspiracy theory stuff and into our love of music. That's where our real passion lies. And it was great to see a few of the community from Good Morning Portugal there with us last night. Victoria was there. Lee was there. Phil requesting their favourite tunes, giving us a bit of backstory on those tunes. And we were delighted to play them, as well as a few of our favourites as well. Oh, Ron's here this morning. Rebel Mama, Owen. Great photos, Owen. To share from Owen. Andrew Gilchrist is here. Sam Nazare is here as well. Baldylocks, Hippie Slug. Excellent. Chris Smith, Kate. Come back to you in some detail in a little while. Eggplant Man is here. Everybody, the superhero whose true identity I dare not reveal. So how are you doing this morning? It is Consumer Tuesday, and obviously people concerned about the price of gas and petrol. How's it going for you where you are? Food as well. Price of food would appear to be going up and be in short supply. But as I said before, the reason for the empty shelves in Portugal is because the Portuguese people went out and bought a load of food to send to the Ukraine. So an interesting frame on that particular news item where there might be gloom and doom and negativity and inciting people to panic and all that sort of stuff that goes on in the media. Forgive them. It's their job. It's what they do. If it bleeds, it leads, right? And then if it doesn't, if there's nothing bleeding on the front cover, we've got to stir up the malarkey somehow. Okay, so it's just their job. They're just doing their job. Okay, we do something slightly different here. We what was it we said yesterday, Sam? We revel in and reveal the glory of being alive. How about that? That's quite a mission, isn't it? Every morning, and we do our best to do that between 8:30 and 10 o'clock. And we'll start with some tossing and turning this morning. Hola, bon dia, todos. Chris, I think, determined to be in first this morning. Well done, sir. And that was 7:12. Chris, are you up and working already at that time? I had an early start, actually. I am getting into a much more effective and fruitful routine. So I got up at 6:30 this morning. Well, first woke up at 6, and we're doing this Vitality in Action program, of course, 20 days of various pursuits to aid the well-being and vitality of body and mind. With a few of the folks from the community here chipping in with some lovely content, quite amazing. And you'll find that at the 50 Plus Vitality group on Facebook if you want to join us. But part of it is me getting into a better morning routine. And I'll be honest with you here, and you probably knew it anyway, but I used to get up just in time to do the show, to take the dogs out for a walk, have a quick cup of tea, and then do the show. I have made more space. Having posted that, how you can create more time in the day by just getting up an hour earlier. every day. And some people are saying, well, Andrew Gilchrist, for example, I think he already puts 26 or 7 hours into a day, so he hasn't got any more capacity. But it's been great, I have to say, this morning, and filed a little meditation podcast this morning as well, all before doing the show this morning. So it's great to be here this morning. I'm back to the tossing and turning. Alla bon dia todos. Faz do dias, windjammers, tossing and turning, I wriggle in my sleep, I think of you. A classic early 80s jazz funk track, which I've completely just ruined there. Thank you for that, Chris. And let's keep building that lovely playlist on Spotify of the old Faz do dia jazz, old jazz funkers, never die. They just go to all dayers for the rest of their lives and enjoy the good ones from the 70s and 80s. Bon dia. What's this? Grafiteros, poetas y punks. Oh, you punks and oh, you turds. Let's have a look then. Who is this in the picture? We will find out in just a moment. Another in the occasional series, Origins of Portugal. 7-Eleven. Which means something entirely different in America, doesn't it, compared to Portugal? But 7-Eleven was established by the Moors in the south of Portugal. No, it wasn't. Just messing about. Origins of Portugal. 7-Eleven, the year. The Moors. 500 years of influence. The first Moors were Berbers. But the term was later also applied to Arabs. In 7-Eleven, the Umayyad Caliphate conquered Hispania, including all of modern Portugal. The Iberian Peninsula became Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus. I'm going to go for Al-Andalus. So Andalusia maybe probably comes from that, doesn't it? Interesting. And of course, as the further south you go in Portugal, the greater is the Moorish influence, not least things beginning with Al, like Algarve and Aljabarota, etc., etc. Thank you very much, Origins of Portugal Prof. Eusebio this morning. Excellent work. The Umayyad divided Hispania into 5 administrative areas, including what is now modern Portugal and Galicia. Generally, Muslims and Christians coexisted peacefully. Well, there's a thing that we could learn from, right there. Christians were subject to a special tax called jizya. Don't like the sound of that. Which in return provided freedom of religious and protections by the Muslim rulers. So it's a kind of protection racket then. Call it a special tax, if you will, but pay up and we won't give you any further bother. A prototype for taxation that we now know and love in the modern world. Ultimately, the Christian kingdoms in the north of the Iberian Peninsula overpowered the Muslim states to the south in 1249. Not content with that arrangement, right? Just paying up, just coughing up and being protected. They fought back and overpowered the Muslim states to the south. In 1249, the Portuguese Reconquista culminated with the conquest of the Algarve by Afonso III. Portuguese has over 500 words of Arabic origin in its vocabulary. And during this period, Arabic science influenced Portuguese development, including medicine, astronomy, architecture. Astrology would have been a part of astronomy then, wouldn't it? Architecture, navigation, and farming. Amazing. I'd love to see more examples of that. I'm not asking you to do that, Prof. You've been quite kind enough with that incredible information this morning. So thank you very much there. Is that a Moorish celebrity, if you like? A Moorish A-lister in your picture there. Who is that? Or is this more of a sort of gogeneric kind of picture there? Baldylocks also here. Good morning, Gumpers. How are you this morning, Baldylocks? And Chris Smith as well is here, I believe. Buried in there somewhere in all the comments, I think. So good morning to you, Chris. And I think Chris is enjoying this. I have to say the information that, yes, I have to say, says Chris to you, Prof. Eusebio, the information that you provide is very interesting and invaluable. It helps join up the dots and puts everything into perspective with so much history. It helps us understand why we love Portugal so much. It is the mix of humanity. So true, isn't it? And thanks, Chris. It has been a learning experience for me too. So I'm glad you're getting some value out of it as well, Prof. Eusebio. Please keep it coming. Absolutely delightful to read out today in Portuguese history. And of course, the origins of Portugal that we had this morning. Good morning from Owen, which seems like a good moment to display your excellent photography and top of the morning cockerel there, just in the citrus grove. Isn't that a lovely picture? Sorry about this, Owen. I'm going to take off your comment so we can see your picture in full glory there. And I'm just going to got a little bit of info to go with that you sent in with me. Where are we this morning? Oh yeah, Owen. And I can play your voice. I asked you if it was all right to share these, and what did you say to me? You said this, if it will load up. But anyway, that's the cockerel taken amongst the citrus trees. A proper Portuguese scene, isn't it? Almost like the Barcelos cockerel there. And then we also have a carpenter bee in the wisteria. Yes, I asked you if it was okay to share them.
Absolutely, my friend. A very good morning to you. Yeah, there you go. See you in a bit.
Woo, there you go. I love it. Hasn't Owen got a fantastic voice? And we have the carpenter bee in the wisteria. Isn't that a lovely combination of colours? It's so dark, isn't it, the carpenter bee? A little bit of pollen there on its leg, I think, or dandruff. I don't know if bees suffer from that condition, but lovely photographs. Thank you very much. Keep them coming in, folks. 913-590-303. At 9 o'clock, of course, this morning, Moulen on mortgages. Jacqueline Moulen will be here from Mortgage Direct. And if you've got any questions about borrowing money to buy a house, i.e. a mortgage, the mortgage, does that literally translate as the grip of death? Or probably until death, doesn't it? Mortgage. Is it French in origin? Prof, you can help us out with etymology, can't you? Or anyone else. Morning, Owen. Hit the like button. Simple. And he's done it as well. I don't think that's just to Owen. I think that's a more general from Lycus Maximus there, the keeper of the likes. Chris, urging all to do that. Morning all. What Capricorn said. Brilliant history. I've been reading up on Portugal, but having the story in bite-sized chunks makes it easier to take in. Thank you, Midlife Crisis World Tour, as you're also known. Coach Turner, lovely motivational message with a bit of fartlek going on this morning. If you're looking 50 plus vitality, a little bit later on, you'll see the motivational message from Coach Turner. So thank you, yes, for your comments, both Capricorn and Coach Turner there to the prof. Totally agree. Owen, have you thought about setting up a channel cooking with Owen? A channel cooking with Owen. Not only are you cooking, but you're getting people to cook with you. You send out the ingredients list a week before, then continues Chris somewhere else. We're liking that idea, though, aren't we, Owen? What do you think? Bon dia, Carl and friends from Kate. See you later, Kate, I hope. They cook with you online using StreamYard. Oh, my goodness. That sounds like fun. What could possibly go wrong there? A bit of Portuguese wine involved as well. And that's going to be something others would want to watch, even if they're not taking part in that, right? Gogglebox with cooking. Good idea, Chris. Hit the like buttons. Let's see if we can get everyone that joins or watches this morning to hit the like button and help promote the channel. Thank you very much indeed, Chris, for that. Appreciate it. I concur with you, Chris, and the coach. It's powerful truth the Midlife Crisis World Tour shares with us. Okay, yeah, nice one. Bordylocks agreeing too. I concur with you there, yes. Ian Turner, good morning. Hit the like button. Also, this week, I invented 10,000 steps before 7 in the morning challenge for myself. Excellent. Well, please, Chris, do join the 50 plus. Well, you're not 50 plus, are you? But so maybe that's why you haven't joined. But you could be an example to the rest of us. It's going well. I'm up and on the treadmill, walking, not running. Feels great. Isn't that brilliant? And I'm actually talking to a brand new streaming service. They have a new concept of earn while you stream. What? Why don't I know about this? They're based in Sweden, and I will be the streams. I'll be the first stream that's outside of Sweden. Well, you kept that to yourself. Come on, we could do with a bit of that, Owen. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers from the T-Duck. He might be a bit tired this morning after yesterday's radio show. Stephen Wright quote of the day from him, though. Right now, I am having amnesia and deja vu at the same time. I think I've forgotten this before. Yay. Owen, that's a very interesting concept. Make sure you share it with us when you're up and running. Absolutely. I hope we're the first to know here. And a George Carlin quote of the day. Everyone smiles in the same language. Oh, beautiful. That's one of George's more loving contributions there, isn't it, for humanity? But excellent. There's a meme for us. I think that needs to be worked up into a meme, doesn't it? Everyone smiling in the same language, as I hope we do here every morning. Suze is here after that bombshell news yesterday. Bon dia, Gumpers. Like button has been hit. Fondled, hit, whatever. Do what you want to do to the like button. To the thief who stole my glasses, I will find you. I have contacts. Ay, that one slipped in, didn't it? I think you should have had this before that.
Warning.
Quite right. Oh no, there. Outrageous behaviour this morning. Thank you for that. Morning all from Chris Smith. Yes, I thought you were here this morning. And yeah, brilliant. Owen, sounds fantastic. Walking is the best exercise for most of us. Mix in a little quick walking. That's the fartlek, isn't it? The intermittent, as well if you can just do it to raise the heart rate. Yeah, that's what I think. That's the aim, isn't it? Is to get the heart rate up a bit as well and exercise the heart in that way. Lots of ways to exercise the heart. Smiling at people also does that, doesn't it? Hold on a minute. Do I need to play the dad joke warning again? I wanted to be a monk, but I never got the chance. Oh my word! If anyone knows how to fix, he's gonna keep going unless he is stopped. If anyone knows how to fix broken hinges, my door is always open. James is here, who I know is partial to a little bit of dad jokery as well. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz terça a todos. Como tem passado? Very good. That's we haven't had probably enough Portuguese this morning. Thank you for topping us up there, James, with your lovely illustration as well. A new banana slug for every occasion. And the Windjammer track. I didn't know you were a funker, Ian Turner. Love that Windjammer track. It's also on Trevor Nelson's Club Classics album. My mate was on Trevor Nelson's show the other day, phoned in and got the answer right. Good morning to you, Martin, one of the Surrey Funk Massive. And there's a lot of them in Surrey, aren't there, in the home counties? I increase and decrease the treadmill session. I can feel it working wonders. Trevor Nelson is a legend. He is, isn't he? Met him a long time ago, I think, in the Crypt Club. He used to be called the Mad Hatter, didn't he, back in the day? Sorry, this is very niche and specialist now, but he was called the Mad Hatter. Trevor Nelson, the Mad Hatter, and he used to play with the Soul to Soul crew at the Africa Centre. Happy times. Hola, bon dia, hippie slug. Hit the like button. He's personally coaching and encouraging everyone to hit the like button this morning. And James coming up with a Dimitri Martin. That is right, isn't it? Dimitri Martin quote of the day. Hold on a minute. I have to be careful here. People only mention it's a free country if they're doing something. Did I say last one? I didn't see the other three coming. Come on, Thunderduck. Really? Use the dad joke warning. Yes, you didn't see those coming. None of us did, I'm afraid to say. Have to leave you all this morning as off to the track to train and coach in the sunshine. Have a great show. Nice one, Ian. Thanks for popping in, albeit just for the first part of the show. You can watch us on catch up, of course, later. Good morning. Have a great day, though, at the track. Good morning. I hope all is well. From Bordylocks to Sue's advice. I can spell. Did I miss something, or is that a mum joke or something, or something else going on that I didn't realise? You never know when you might need the knowledge, so it's always great to collect it as you go along. Oh, yes, of course. We've got the internet as well, haven't we, as the great repository of information too. Bon dia, Gumpers. I'm mixed about that, Chris, I have to say. There is this obsession, isn't there, to fill our heads, well, metaphorically fill our heads. I mean, we don't really know where all this stuff is kept, do we? You have an idea or a bit of knowledge, like you say, and you collect it as you go along. Where is it? Where does that information live? Because you can't open someone's brain and see it there. It's quite miraculous and amazing how this works, isn't it? And I suppose we are little personal internets as well as being connected to this one, through which we can connect with and see each other. Rebel Mama's here. Yes, absolutely, Rebel Mama. Your offer yesterday, I would love it if you would do that. A little. Can you compose a little haiku for us that advertises your poetry course? How about that? And what is it? What is the haiku formation? Maybe we can all do haikus this morning here on Consumer Tuesday. Hola, bon dia, os meus cúmplices. The accomplices this morning, I think that might be. Not long now. Not long for you now, to Andrew. Soon you'll be waking up to the sound of Portugal every morning. Yeah, and the sound of Lisbon is fantastic. And he is flying in on the 11th. Okay, so not long now, about 3 weeks I make that. And hello, Gumpers, from Sam Nazare from over there in Australia as well. And turns out, says Rebel Mama, there were 6,000 kids at the rave over the course of the evening. If I don't get COVID, it'll be the power of the music and dancing. Yes, that sounds like an infection hotspot in there. But I suppose traditionally that is the place where people would pick up dancing, and we know what that leads to. That would be the way, wouldn't it? That people would have built their immunity or succumbed to whatever was the latest bug, lurgy, or germs going around. But good luck, fingers crossed for you, Rebel Mama, after that experience. Can we spare a thought for the Chinese people who perished in another 7? Oh dear, I didn't know about that. That sounds grisly and awful, but of course. Bon dia, Carl Itoros from Moaz this morning as well. I'm just finished my colonoscopy. Oh my word. And they found 5 precancerous polyps, but that's normal. Come back in 5 years. Okay. Well, thank you for the inside information there, I suppose is the right way to refer to it. So it sounds like it was good news then, Moaz. When you say just finished, like just finished. Ron Shea, bon dia todos de Ron in Cascais. If anyone else wants to share intimate, personal, medical, procedural information, we're a tight-knit and intimate community here, aren't we? Thanks, Baldylocks and Capricorn 12. I'm struggling for clarity and sticking with it while I pack. I retrieved my camping gear from the consignment shop, thinking the drive to Portugal is back on the table. Oh, toing and froing, the ups and downs of migration. Is there any way we can help with that, Suze? I think we're all a little bit concerned about you at the moment, hearing what we heard yesterday. But you know where we are, don't you? If there is anything we can do, and I'm sure you feel. I hope you feel like you can reach out to us here. Do I share too much? Well, I just feel like I know you that little bit better, is what I'll say about that, Moaz. We'll watch around 4 p.m. Belfast as a very busy day. Deagle, see you later. And sorry I couldn't get all the picks in yesterday. Actually, I'll do it now. I'm talking of Consumer Tuesday and food, possible food prices and food shortages and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to give that too much attention because I don't want to panic or worry anybody. But I suppose it's something that we can be practically aware of. Here's a picture from Deagle's garden. Cucumber. He's planted cucumbers, everybody. Can't see anything there yet. And that's, of course, because if you look closely on the tag there, it was planted 2 days ago, 20th of March there. Cucumbers planted in Belfast. And he also sent in this picture because the water levels are low. That's normally filled up twice over and barely half full there over there in Belfast, where there is also a drought. Would you like to see a few pictures? Talking of growing food, would you like to see a few pictures from Shay Munson? We've been growing. Look at this. Look at Mrs. M's salad. And is that cabbage or kale at the front there? Kale, probably a bit of both. She's done an amazing job, hasn't she? This has been fantastic. These salad leaves and these green leaves. She made kale chips a couple of days ago, which are fantastic. Lovely row of lettuces there, leeks, onions, some nasturtium growing in there. And I tell you what, look at this. This isn't our garden. But I found this yesterday out with the kids up at the North Beach. I filed a little live video of Nazare's North Beach, the place where people go and surf. And not up on the fort there, but down on the beach. And I was having a little look. It was a very, very still day by Nazare standards. And on the way there, my daughter, Minnie, said, I can see deer as we drove towards the beach. And I thought, well, have a look on the way back. Did she really see deer, or did she see some sort of antler-shaped branches in the woods here? And look, she really did see reindeer. Got a little video as well where I make a number of dad jokes, actually. I'll see if I can bring that to you towards the end of the show. But it was so nice to see. And there's a little bit of a backstory to this, because I think a notable landed sort of gentry type person was chasing a deer and nearly jumped off the cliff in pursuit of a deer, because the deer was seen as a sign of the like a satanic sign. And he decided to chase this deer and was nearly lost his life as he leapt towards it and over the cliffs, but was saved by some sort of divine intervention. I'll bring you more of that story later. But you can see reindeer, as Santa Claus once said, if you go up to Nazare there towards the North Beach. Isn't that amazing? I didn't know that. So back to the food growing. Look, we grow mushrooms here at Casa Munson as well. I'm not going to make the fungi joke. I'm not going to do that, especially after all those other awful jokes this morning. There's some comfrey for you and some more. That's a second wave or third wave, probably even more wave of growing there, the rotation that Mrs. M is involved in. And back to the front garden and traditional cabbage there. What are those called? What's that? Is that jasmine on the garden fence? On the railings there, and some traditional Portuguese cabbage in the foreground. Beautiful. And finally, sorry, I won't. It's turning into a gardening club slideshow, isn't it? More of that sort of thing on a Monday evening between 6:15 and 7. The gardening Q&A under the excellent leadership of head gardener Lee McGrady. But there, just a few more pictures there from the garden, or a few more plants from the garden in the planters that I've made. If you want to make a very good value planter, let me know. I'll send you well, it's no blueprint. I mean, you basically buy a sheet from Leroy Merlin, about 16 euros, I think it is, which is pretty cheap for timber these days, I tell you. And you slash that down into thirds. You saw one of those thirds into half, and then you screw it all together, and you end up with a raised bed, not unlike this one here. How about that? So yeah, I really enjoy doing things like that. And of course, what we're doing over here, and you might want to do this too in your part of Portugal or anywhere in the world. Look, San Martinho de Porto Community Garden. I think I was quite disgusted, as I think I told you the other day, about this idea of there being food shortages. It shouldn't happen. There is a distribution problem. There's an education problem. There is a sanity problem when it comes to food. Not really a shortage. You know, we are blessed with amazing growing conditions here in Portugal, and you can grow food if you know how to quite easily. I say that, and Mrs. M does most of it here. But what about community gardens, establishing community gardens here on Consumer Tuesday all around Portugal? And the excellent question that Garvo was asking yesterday, which I asked on the gardening show, but I mean, it's useful here as well, isn't it? There must be many people around Portugal. Actually, I didn't do this justice on the gardening show yesterday, but Gary did ask this. There must be many people around Portugal who have land they can no longer maintain. I think it's time to start a conversation on how we could all benefit from helping with this problem. I think he's right. And I think his proposal is to have some sort of register, or, you know, people are renting out their driveways, aren't they, for parking? People rent out their sofas or offer their sofas for couch surfing. How about that? We extend that to gardening areas as well. We get some food growing for our community and for our neighbours. What do you think about that idea? Back to your comments then. My voice is a little bit sore this morning. Looking forward to the arrival of Jacqueline Moulen, Moulen on mortgages. Do you remember last time when she was with us? She told us about her grandfather, who made something a little bit like Coca-Cola in the Netherlands, until the men in suits turned up and said, "You can't be doing that." So we talk to her again and find out more about her incredible life and ancestry. I hope it's always really, I mean, this is what we do, isn't it? We talk to people about more than their specialist subject, which is always fascinating. And the more we find out about them, the more fascinating they seem to come. So goodness only knows what we're going to find out about. What was that? About Jacqueline this morning. Moulen on mortgages at 9 o'clock, folks. Oh, more photos coming in. Deagle, thank you very much for this. What is that? Okay. I think this is a really good thing to share on the screen right now. Thank you very much for this. Sorry for reading that inside my own mind there. It was just in case it was a personal thing that was being sent. But I think let's stop the show. Important message has just come in, and we need to put it on the screen right now, okay? Very important in these times. Today, you could be standing next to someone who is trying their best not to fall apart. So whatever you do today, do it with kindness in your heart. That rhymes, and I could have read that better. We would love a haiku from you, advertising your new poetry course, Rebel Mama. But this is so true, isn't it? And it doesn't cost much to be kind, does it? As I'm sure James will be happy to remind us, because I know he is a kind meister. Is that a right way of saying it? But I know you always promote the value of kindness, James. It hasn't gone unnoticed. Thanks, Owen. I want some OFC. We all do. Owen. Chicken. We saw the pictures, and we will see the frying, I hope, in due course. What's happening here? Rebel Mama. Well, there we go. The power of music, dancing, and love. By the way, peeps, I just read that dancing helps with brain aging by 76%. How does that work? How do they get to that specific percentage? Get out there and dance. Yes. So you could be standing next to someone who's falling apart in a supermarket. Start dancing and cheer them up. in the supermarket this morning, and send pictures, please, and videos of yourself dancing in the supermarket. This is me dancing in Little. Yes, get some of those little trainers to dance in as well. Keeper of the likes, the button has been appropriately pushed. He's really working the room today. The keeper of the likes, Lycus Maximus. Bon dia from Pam as well. I was kidnapped by memes. They did unspeakable things to me. That is a very good meme-based joke there. I think that's probably a little bit higher in the realms of humorous consciousness than a mere dad joke. Very good. Yes, time between deciding to join NATO and it actually happening is a concern. What? I must have missed quite a lot here this morning. So I think are there other comments happening elsewhere? So I don't know what the backstory is there, but do we need to alert anyone to the fact that Thunderduck has been kidnapped by memes? I went to a horrible bar called The Fiddle. It really was a vile inn. Okay. I enjoyed the Bubble Show last night. Good morning, people. Oh, thanks, Lee. That's all the encouragement we need. We'll be back again next week, next Monday night at 7:30. A perfectionist walked, excuse me, my voice is going. A perfectionist walked into a bar. Apparently, it wasn't set high enough. If anyone wants to say enough already, please do so in the comments, and he will stop. He probably won't stop. The price of gas is about the price of a can of baked beans. There is some it's a renewable energy connection being made right there. You can see on the screen with Sam there. And my last meal was 2 days ago. So I stopped at Tim Hortons Bagels and Donuts. Oh, they sound a bit good. Are they any good? I bet you were glad to yam a bagel into your face or a donut after 2 days of not eating. I would be. I've started getting up at 5:45 so that I can do my 10,000 steps before 7 a.m. challenge. My goodness. Okay. Is there a competition on there? Is there a bit of an alpha male thing going on so you can get up early enough to listen, to do all that we've got to do, as well as 10,000 steps? Maybe. Who's going to be the first to get up before they even go to bed in this alpha male competition? Good one, Tito. They are good, aren't they? I know I'm giving him stick for these, but they are good. Keep them coming. And we'll say when we've had enough, and then we can't bear to have one more wafer-thin dad joke. Let's go to Jacqueline now. It's Moulen on Mortgages, everybody. Hola, bon dia.
Bom dia, Carl. Tudo bem?
Sim, muito bem, obrigado. Contigo?
Tudo ótimo, obrigada.
Oh, superb. So good to see you this morning.
In Portugal, almost. Just a week.
Say that again.
Almost in Portugal. Just a week away, I'll be there again.
Oh, you're so much like the rest of us here who are desperate to be here in Portugal. So you've got one more week, and then what? You're coming back for good, or do you move?
Yeah, just a short trip, and then I go to Brazil. I'm invited to a wedding there. So
wow, what a jet setter you are! That sounds like fun, though. A Brazilian wedding.
Yeah, first time for me too, Brazilian wedding. But they like to party, so I'm confident that will be fine.
There will be drinking and dancing, I suspect. Will there not, at the Brazilian wedding?
A lot of eating, a lot of dancing, and a lot of drinking. Yes, I think in that order.
Do you know anything about Brazilian weddings? Have you been to one before, and what they're like?
I lived in Brazil, so I've been to Brazilian Christmases. I've been to Brazilian New Year's party. I've been to random party events, and they just really like a party. So I'm not at all worried about this wedding not being fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun, and it would be great as a sort of cultural reference to find out how it works a Brazilian wedding. So yeah, please pass on our best wishes to the happy couple over there. Great to have you back this month to talk about mortgages in Portugal. Get those questions in, folks, if you have any about borrowing money to buy a property here in Portugal. Jacqueline, we have become accustomed to very straightforward answers on this matter. And it's great. We love that about you, Jacqueline. So get those questions in, folks, if you want to be in the marketplace for borrowing a bit of money to purchase a property here. What's been going on for you in the last month since we last saw you, Jacqueline?
In terms of the mortgage as well, just the regular stuff. So lots of people, I mean, it's not slowing down. If anything, the opposite. I think more and more people are just getting excited about the idea of moving to Portugal. So we have a lot of people also coming through the show, but in general, we have a lot of people asking about mortgages.
Fantastic. And there's the email address to do that. And as you said before, people can fill in their profile and build a bit of a picture for themselves on your website, which would be mortgagedirectsl.com. But if you've got a quick, don't go into too much backstory necessarily with an email, but drop an email to Jacqueline on jm@mortgagedirectsl.com if you want to open up that conversation about getting a mortgage for Portugal and Spain, of course, as well. There are people here, and I don't like to make too much of it, but there are people who are thinking about living in Spain as well, and you can help.
Yeah.
But we do like to focus on Portugal here. So lots of inquiries. It's not slowing up at all.
No. I think many people are getting this vibe. A lot of people working from home. A lot of people are just really seeing the benefit of living in the nice weather, the nice scenery. I mean, Portugal is amazing in terms of natural scenery, and the people, they're amazing too. So
that's an interesting cultural shift you're talking about, because people did get used to working from home, didn't they? And they were thinking to themselves, I'm working from home. I live in an apartment in a big city, and I could actually be anywhere. I don't have to go to the office as often as I used to. I could be doing this anywhere. Why don't I change this view for one of rural Portugal or for one of urban Lisbon even? And so the potential is there for doing that. And Lisbon, Portugal, well, all of Portugal remains a great place to do that. So let's catch up with a few more comments and see if there's any questions for you. It was so great to find out about your grandfather last time you were here.
That's the story for sure.
I mean, every time I drink a soda now, or very often, I think of your grandfather and what might have been with that before he had the visit. Okay, Darren Tech Cowboy is here. Why would you do that to yourself? Timmy's EU. What does that mean? I think we're talking about the colonoscopy. He didn't do it to himself. I think it should be pointed out. I think a medical professional was involved there. Morning, Gumpus. Sorry, Jacqueline. Still up because needed a sub sandwich from 7-Eleven. Second mention of 7-Eleven this morning. American Canadian 24-hour convenience store. We know about 7-Eleven. They had a little outbreak in the UK as well. So work beckons again. Have a great day. I have more packing crates to fill this week. There's somebody on the move. Single-handed, being ruthless with scrapping things I don't wish to keep. It's not easy doing that, but it can be great. Have you got some?
I saw a 7-Eleven in Singapore once, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is a global brand, isn't it? And I thought you were going to chip in there with the whether to ship everything or be a bit of a minimalist with this sort of thing. It sounds like you move around a lot. Are you a hoarder or are you a minimalist? Would you say
minimalist? Yeah,
you're a minimalist.
Hoarding just doesn't work if you move a lot or move countries a lot. The hardest thing to get rid of is books, but I start to read everything digitally for that matter because it's just so heavy to move around books a lot.
Yeah, I've heard this, and obviously you're missing out on the feel of the book and the smell of the book, and that sort of visceral connection. But have you made the transition well then to digital reading?
Absolutely, I would say. I mean, yes, it's always nice to hold a real book, but the convenience of having, I mean, I have millions of books on my phone or on my tablet, so yeah, and you can read like little parts of the book and then decide if you want to have it or not. I think that's
indeed. Yeah, I mean,
you can make notes. I've really embraced digital reading, but I don't know, it's not for everyone. Some people really want to have the feel of a real book in their hand.
Yeah, until they try and travel with all their library, as you say. And I once heard of a chap who was, I suppose, quite an adventurer and an explorer many decades ago. And to lighten his load, what he did was, I think he would pick up a paperback on his travels. And as he read each page, he'd tear it out and throw it away to make the, which I think to anyone who loves books, that would be real sacrilege, wouldn't it? But it does also make sense as well. And books are biodegradable as well. You can make quite an extraordinary planter out of books, I think. Okay, so let's go back to your comments and questions. Let's see what we've got in the chat here. Rebel Mama Carl, this is for me, I think. I would rather pay a tax to keep my religion than get murdered and or exiled as happened to Muslims later. Indeed, yes, absolutely. When you put it like that, behold the keeper of the likes. Hitting the like button helps with the YouTube algorithm, which means the show is suggested to more people, getting more views, building the community. Thank you very much for that. And of course, we have hit 10,000 subscribers, which I think might help, but I don't know. I'd sleep if he had extra time. He would sleep for 8 hours a night. Yes, I suppose he'd be reinvesting back into sleep. We've been talking about morning routines, Jacqueline, and like squeezing more time into the day. I don't know. What time do you get up in the morning? Are you an early riser?
Not per se, but it depends really on how late I go to bed. Is quite a simple equation there. I need like 8 hours of sleep, so I try to go in before midnight, and I wake up naturally always around 7:30. I don't need to put an alarm, but
really,
I'm early riser like 6 in the morning and jumping out of bed type of.
No, and life is so exciting, isn't it? To be going to bed at 9 o'clock. I can't do that.
No, that's too early for me too. But
Yeah.
I do like to follow biology in that sense. So if the like the chickens, the sun is going down for our biorhythm, I think that's the healthiest to do. But I think our life is just not.
So many temptations, aren't there? You're right. And yes, we did have a lovely picture of a cockerel this morning. I'm going to show it again because you mentioned it. But they're funny. They are like clockwork, aren't they? Yeah. They when it goes dark, they toddle. If you've habituated them to do so, they will toddle back into their chicken coop, won't they, and go to bed. And they will just sit there and roost. And then they'll wait until the light comes back and then they'll get up again. They are very sensible and wise, more so than us, it could be said. Okay, well, Finland.
We suffer from it because in Spain, you have the siesta and people tend to have dinner very late, but it's because Spain is on the wrong hour. They should actually be on the same time as Portugal is. And that's why the biorhythm of people is really confused there, and they lose a lot of sleep, and it's not helping their health. So a lot of people try to push it back to make the hour align again with what it should be, like Portugal or the UK. And the hotel business doesn't want it because the tourists enjoy the long summer nights.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I suppose you got to pay back at some point or other, haven't you? That might be with a lie-in, or it might be with massive bags under your eyes, like me. Okay, 29 hours a day would be fab. It's not going to happen, is it? 168 a week. That's what we get, and we got to use them wisely. This might be part of why Suze is thinking of not staying in Finland. Now planning to join NATO. Putin has threatened it not to. That is the time. That is the time between concern. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I get the gist of why it might be a little scary being there. Suze, before you come back to Canada, be aware that the ruling coalition has just extended their arrangement until 2025 in public. More reasons why we're leaving Canada. What a turbulent world we live in. Nuno is here. Good morning, Carl. Good morning, everyone. One more rainy day. Okay, so there's a weather forecast for you there. Dance, dance, dance. This is the reason I go and see Nile Rodgers and the Chic organisation whenever they are in town. Dance, dance, dance. Yowza, yowza, yowza. In the picture there, Al-Muhtamid Ibn Abad, the poet and final ruler of the Taifa of Seville, born in Beja, Portugal in 1040. I don't suppose you were expecting to learn that this morning, Jacqueline. Hi, Lee. Saw your participation on the gardening night show last night. Antonio F is here, everybody, this morning, and Raj is here as well. Bon dia, for streaming and getting paid. Please share more info. Yeah, I want to know about that. Bon dia, alegria from a partly sunny Nadadura this morning. And Sue's focusing on practicing what I preach. Well, yes, good. Military jets training overhead. This is amazing, isn't it? The news coming in from around the world from our community. So military jets training overhead again today. We're so lucky and privileged and, fortunate to be here in Portugal and to hear this for Suze. Whatever is going on there, that must be a little bit unnerving over there in Finland. Rebel Mama from Prof. I was trying to establish that the Moors were Portuguese and behaved much better than the Christian kings that followed. Much of the othering of the Moors was an excuse for their mistreatment. Indeed, and reading the Arab perspective on the Crusades is quite eye-opening. There are a few good books out there, also available on Kindle. I know about the Spanish Inquisition, but did the Inquisition happen in Portugal too? It did indeed, Moaz, and that's where the Alheira sausage comes from, just as one cultural export from that. Bon dia from It'll Be Fun. We need to know more about you, It'll Be Fun, because that sounds like, well, fun, basically, doesn't it? To have a YouTube channel of that name. And yes, Antonio, not much about mortgages so far, but a nice history lesson, right? Yes,
lovely.
there was the Inquisition in Portugal as well. It worked between 1536 and 1821. Okay, amazing historical references this morning. Thank you very much, Prof and Rebel Mama. Oh, and another dad joke, I think. I went to the library to get a medical book on abdominal pain, but somebody had ripped the appendix out. Oh, dear. Yes.
I
Okay.
hope it wasn't his appendix.
No, indeed.
The brain go to the hospital.
Yes. Seek medical help. Yes, seek help, Thunderduck. For heaven's sake, the brain is an amazing organ. It really makes you think. I think he must have a book of these, don't you? And he's just reading them out. I'm typing them into the screen. 40 people watching, only 22 likes. Smash those likes, people! Okay. Chris taking his job very seriously. This, of course, lives on. In Play Again, and we're on Facebook as well as YouTube, don't forget, and on the podcast. Lots of people listen on the podcast, and if you want to come back to Jacqueline, you can do that later. You don't have to be live on the show and fear that you've missed asking a question. You can always do that by going to our business directory, mortgage-direct-sl, or send an email into Jacqueline at jm@mortgagedirectsl.com. Okay, let's have a look. It's just all about the jokes this morning, and also the history. Also, Muslims remained in Portugal, their home, after the Reconquista, but were also banished later by the Inquisition. Yet there is no equivalent of to the Sephardic Jew nationality law for Muslims. Interesting. I was boring before I got into mushrooms, but now I'm a fun guy. Oh my! Got to pause for now. Got a 45-minute work chat on Teams. Well, you have our commiserations. You work in a distributed team, Jacqueline, don't you? Do you use Microsoft Teams, or do you have a favored and better communication system for that?
We use Zoom as a platform, and sometimes Google Meet, because it's directly from the directory. Not a ton of Teams, but I mean, I guess once you have it set up and it works, then
away you go. Yeah. Okay.
Meetings with the banks, I think they use Teams a lot because they have a lot of Microsoft there.
Yes, they do, don't they? Yes. Having a lot of Microsoft there is not something I feel especially positive about. But anyway, enough about my own IT. Interesting, but not surprising. What about Spain? Any ancestral reunification allowed? Not for me, just interested. Okay, great conversation there. And Moaz saying, some historians consider the Jewish Golden Age was during the Islamic rule in Spain. After the Jews expelled from Spain, they were welcome in North Africa and Ottoman Turkey there. I knew James would respond to this with kindness. Be kind whenever possible, and it's always possible, the Dalai Lama. Very important to remember in these times. Yeah.
Not true.
Haiku is not 575, only taught that way in schools. Stop the myth. Sorry, we were still waiting. Is that a haiku? It's in its own right, though. Haiku is not 575, only taught that way in schools. Stop the myth. That is a haiku, I think, possibly there, but I'm not helping with that, am I, Rebel Mama? Countless anecdotes of people planning to go home and kill themselves just because of the kindness of one person on their way home. They change their minds. It's true. It's absolutely true. So remember that, folks. I've been to Tunisia, says Moaz, and I was surprised that many families still to this day trace their ancestry to Muslim Spain there. Jim White's in. I want to ask you, Jim, have you settled on Porto, and do you need a mortgage? Bon dia todos, from Jim, who I think may still be up there in Porto. I'm not even going to read that out, Thunder. That's a new low, isn't it, there, I think. Cheers to the Dalai Lama quote from Suze to James there. And Tim Hortons, I've heard it's bad Canadian coffee on a par or worse than Starbucks. Well, this sounds like a guilty pleasure possibly there, Timmy's. Well, we talked a lot about coffee yesterday and how Portuguese people, when they get back to the airport, first thing they do is have a coffee. As a traveller, Brazil, Spain, Portugal, who do you think makes the best coffee in the world, Jacqueline?
Ooh, this is too sensitive. I don't think I should answer a question.
You don't want to upset anybody. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, if you like sweet, Brazilians standard make it with sugar. It's very hard to get without. So that's maybe not your coffee, but they just like things to be sweet in general in life. both in Spain and Portugal, I'm impressed with the waiters and like I worked as a waitress back when I was studying, and I would put on the first day just a number of different coffee variations that you can order for very little money. I think that should be you need a degree to do that job, just the serving the coffee part. In Spain and Portugal, it's insane the options that people get, and it's like a coffee here in the Netherlands is like €4 a cup or €3, depending if you take a very simple one. But I mean,
yeah, amazing, isn't it? It's almost as if the coffee in Portugal is seen as a human right, and the government would intervene if ever it rose too far above €1. And I think you're right. So shout out to all the baristas this morning, and the amazing people in cafes whose overheads must be quite significant, and they've had their challenges over the last couple of years, and still there they are selling hundreds of coffees a day to make a living. So shout out to you all. Lots of love to you. Good morning, y'all. The burning question of locating grits in Setúbal has been resolved. Do you know of this culinary delight that is the American grit, Jacqueline?
No.
Okay. Well, in case you want to try them, they're at Intermarché. We are no longer completely dependent on the nice lady in Portimão Mercado. That sounds like a breakthrough there. What is the deposit requirement? A mortgage question. Kimball, good morning to you. I think drawn here by the talk of mortgages with Moulen on Mortgages here that we do every month. Jacqueline, so I think that's probably quite how long is a bit of string question, but I'm sure you can give some sort of response to that.
Do you want me to have a short answer or a very elaborate one?
I want a lovely elaborate one now.
Okay.
See what I can do.
Kimball, thank you for asking. Basically, it always depends on your personal income situation and the outgoings that you already have. So that's going to establish the actual deposit that you need to put down in order to qualify for the mortgage. However, there's a basic guideline, which is a short answer, and you need at least 70% is the maximum a bank is able to lend to someone who's not a tax resident in Portugal. And with tax residency, you usually have to have a bit of a history. So that usually doesn't apply to non-residents. Either they just started to live in Portugal or they're not living yet. So for non-residents, it's 70% is the maximum the bank is going to give you. That means you need to put down 30% of your own funds, and you need somewhere between 7 to 10% for fees and taxes. So around 40% rule of thumb of own funds for any purchase. The origin of the funds is important. They do check it. And then the rest of the money is available through the bank.
Very good. So thank you, Kimball. Thank you, Kimball. That was quite a challenge, wasn't it? I could tell. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you, Kimball. Thank you for being here this morning, Kimball, and asking the question. Anything else we can do for you, do ask here this morning, or continue the conversation with Jacqueline via email, as you can see there. B is here as well this morning. Look at this. Is it true there's an age limit on getting a mortgage in Portugal? Simple answer would be yes, but I think you could probably elaborate a little more on that as well.
Well, Bia, you look very young. If that's you, you look great. So I think this wouldn't be an issue so much for you. But up to the age of 75 with most banks is when you would have to have paid off your mortgage. Maybe in some instances, but it doesn't apply to everyone. I have to really see everyone's individual profile. But I've had it where part of the couple was younger, and then we could base it on the youngest applicant. And then the mortgage could be longer, even though the other part of the application was the one with the larger income.
Okay, all right.
A good construct there in terms of when the partner would decease, what would happen to that income, and then we could make it work. But most banks are not so creative with that. So they really look at who is the oldest applicant. If you're a single applicant, then it's about you. You could think about if it's possible to include someone else who's younger. If you have a family member, that could make the equation work too.
Okay, so there you go. There are workarounds, but generally speaking, 75. Oh, it's tactics here. Thank you very much for that, B. Thank you, Jacqueline. The beauty of having this show on the laptop and the Teams meeting on the iPhone, I have an Android bud in one ear and an Apple bud in the other. Therefore, the work meeting and listening to the show. But every now and then, Chris will be sending a message to his colleagues saying, hit the likes. And they'll say, what, Chris? Oh, sorry. I don't know why I put hit the like.
Would be the question I have on my mind now. Like, which part is more entertaining.
Yes, hopefully we are this morning. But if you find yourself veering towards your work meeting, let us know and hit the like button before you go, obviously. Carl, look at this. They're all rooting for us, Jacqueline. There is a question for Jacqueline. Kimball is here again. With interest rates looking to be on the rise, do Portuguese banks offer fixed rates, and on what kind of durations? Okay, so let's come back to the question specifically from Kimball in a moment. But that's an interesting prediction from Kimball. I mean, they can't stay this good forever, can they?
When there's things happening in the world, you see when there's wars, conflicts, any of things of that matter, you see markets are getting anxious a little bit. What you see in Europe for the last, as long as I've been doing this work, last 6 years, Euribor, which is an important underlying interest rate that banks use to establish a variable rate mortgage, has been negative. And technically, interest rate cannot be negative. Like that's, you're saying basically there's no risk, but I allow people to research that subject for themselves. But so it's quite funny that we have a negative interest rate. It has been so for 6 years. It's still negative at the moment, meaning that if you take a variable rate, the bank is going to offer you 1%, which we can offer through our context. They're going to take down around 0.4% from that. So effectively, you have somewhere between 0.5, 0.6.
Okay.
Until 3 months ago, it was minus 0.5% negative. Right now, it's minus 0.2 or 3%. I didn't check it this morning, but yesterday it was minus 0.2. They still take the last 6 months. So if you're taking a mortgage out today, they're going to take a medium of that last 6 months movement. But yes, it has been rising, but it's still negative, which is funny in itself. Basically saying there is no risk.
Yeah.
In terms of the fixed rate, yes, they do offer them as well. In Portugal, is established to the swap rate, which is also what is on the market every day. So that's not something I can guarantee you beforehand. You can really only fix it on the day you're signing at the notary. But still, those are quite low at the moment. They haven't jumped up massively in the last couple of weeks or months. And how long can the fixed rate be? What kind of duration? So somewhere between 10 to 15 years. Longer than 20 years, it happens, but it's not so common. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. There you go, Kimball. And Kimball, I think I'm happy with the answers there. Thanks, Carl and Jacqueline. Well, mainly Jacqueline, really, in this department. Thank you very much. Jim yes, renting here in Porto. So are you sticking there? Thinking about a mortgage, we have started to research. Good to see everybody. Great to see you as well, Jim. You know what to do if you want to speak to Jacqueline about that. From Darren from Tech Cowboy, Jacqueline, mortgage question. Is there a way to import your credit history? Oh, that's a good question. In your home country to improve your chances of being approved for a mortgage. So are credit histories country specific and are they importable?
In fact, you have to demonstrate your credit history. Okay. So if you have a good credit rating in your home country, the bank will always ask for a credit report of the country that you're paying taxes now. That's a vital element of your application. And would you not have a good credit, it will hurt your chances of getting an approval. So if you've been very good on time paying your credits in the past, that will definitely help in your application being approved in Portugal.
There you go, Darren. Fantastic. Laura's here. Bon dia from sunny Devon. How lovely. Is that Devon in the UK? There must be places called Devon in the United States as well, but I think that's probably UK. Less than 4 weeks till I'm in Ferragudo to sort things out for our new 12-month rental. D7 application going in ASAP. Well done, Laura. You know where we are if you need help, and be happy with that, bon dia. Also, what's the average down payment, or is there an advantage to paying the mortgage all up front? Well, why would you do that second bit? I guess you don't need a mortgage if you're going to pay it up front, do you? Do you understand that particular question from B there?
What I'm thinking the second question could be that sometimes people think if they're going to buy the property and then try to take equity out, maybe that's how she
okay. All right. Because we've got a separate question on that. But the average down payment, I guess, is more of a percentage, isn't it? We're talking about
which is the same as the other question from Kimball. So you need to put down 40% of your own money to buy in Portugal. 30% down payment, 10% for fees and taxes.
There you go. Excellent. Is there a product similar to UK equity release in Portugal? No, there's not. We've found that to our chagrin previously, haven't we? So sadly not, Maxine, but thank you for asking the question. If we have a loan from a bank, will that affect our renewal of the residency card in future? So that's more of a Monday question, I think, with Gilda, rather than one that Jacqueline could probably answer there. But I suspect, I'm just having a quick think about that. If you've got what's required to satisfy your residency requirements, it shouldn't matter that you've got a loan from the bank. I wouldn't have thought, but come back on Monday, Raj. Well, I know you'll hear more.
Invested in the country, I would say, but maybe that's my logical thinking.
No, that's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Dougie's here as well. Now, I know it won't last particularly long, but it's hotter in Wales than in parts of Portugal right now. You can have the heat back. I'm trying to get some gardening done. My goodness, is it that hot that it's making it difficult to garden in Wales at the moment? Okay, 9:30 it is. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for being here this morning. Popping in to talk about mortgages. If you want to email Jacqueline, it's jm@mortgagedirectsl.com. I've been thinking to myself, what's missing here this morning? The cats. Did you lock them out? Did you lock them out of the room this morning?
No, but they are having breakfast or whatever. It depends, because they had a party last night going outside. So
they had a party. They had a party. They've just come back in for breakfast and they'll be sleeping all day, talking about sleeping routines. That sounds like quite a good one, actually. Oh, very quick one. Have you got credit bureaus in Portugal, like the ones in the US, where you can get your credit score? So, yes, is there a public system, a corporate system for assessing your credit worthiness here in Portugal?
It's not something I have to ask my clients usually, but the banks, when you apply, they will check. So when you fill out the form of the bank, one of the things, the boxes you tick is that you are fine with them checking your credit history in Portugal. So it's for getting a mortgage, it's a standard procedure that you check the credit history also within the country where you're taking out the mortgage. I know that in the UK and the US, you have Experian, Equifax, you have all these commercial companies too. I wouldn't know about Portugal because it's something that I never have to deal with, because my clients usually don't have anything in Portugal. They have everything in the US. Or
of course. Yeah. That would make sense. Okay, so there you go, Moaz. And you. All we have to do is say goodbye, and then the questions start coming in. Can you all right for a little? You all right for a little bit longer? Bee's happy with that. Thank you, Jacqueline and Carl. Hola, Carl and Jacqueline from Katrina Lilly. What documents are needed or required to apply for a mortgage? So could you run us through that little checklist? That's a really good question. Thank you, Katrina Lilly.
Yeah, so I mentioned credit reports, definitely a critical one. It depends on everyone's personal situation. Are you self-employed? Are you employed? These kind of things make the difference. But in principle, bank statements from the last 3 or 6 months, your income statement. So if you're employed, that's going to be your pay slips. If you're self-employed, that's going to be your business accounts too, or invoices or anything that shows your income. And so bank statements, tax returns, I don't know if I mentioned them, and the credit report. And if you have existing mortgages, they also want to see the payments of those mortgages and the amount due or how much debt you have left there. So these are important elements. And passport. And a very important one is a NIF. You need Portuguese NIF. So that's not my subject, but I can redirect you to the right person who can help you get a NIF, which is quite essential to get the mortgage. But if you're buying a property, you need it. So
you need it. I mean, Nunu put this very well. Nunu Mendes is here this morning. For any contract in Portugal, any business contract, you need a NIF number. And for all the big transactions, you need a NIF number, and you're going to need one if you become a resident anyway, and you'll need that for your visas. So yes, NIF, an important part of life here in Portugal. And on that NIFy note, let's leave it there. Lots of love to the cats. I hope they have a nice sleep now after a fine breakfast.
I'll leave them next time and make sure they're part of the show.
It was so much fun last time when they got involved, I have to say. Jacqueline, all the best with your trip to Brazil soon and your trip to Portugal. We look forward to speaking to you again next month. All inquiries to jm@mortgagedirectsl.com. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Carl, for having me.
All right. Ciao. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There she goes in the Netherlands this morning. There's the email address. I'll leave it on there for a little bit longer so that you can ask any questions. Not everybody wants to ask questions publicly on such matters. So if you prefer to do that discreetly via email, you can do that to jm@mortgagedirectsl.com. Any mortgage inquiries at all, send them that way. And if you want to look more generally, if you want to fill in the questionnaire on the company's website, you can do that if you jump in via, let's have a look, where have we got this? Yes, in our business directory, business-directory at expatsportugal.com. You go to, if you just go to our business directory, it's one of the tabs on the website, on our website, but you'll find them there, mortgage-direct-SL Sierra Lima there. So excellent. Thank you, Jacqueline, so much. There she is in the Netherlands there. Going, and we'll find out about what goes on at a Brazilian wedding to some extent, obviously, next time she joins us. Okay, more comments and questions coming in. Look at this. T-Duck still going. During quarantine, I only told inside jokes. I learned already, don't leave your house without your NIF. Indeed. And B, was it you yesterday who put a note on the video I made, the live video from North Nazaré, from the North Beach there? I think you're having a great time up there, aren't you? And thank you, says Katrina Lilly, for answering my question. It's a pleasure, Katrina Lilly. And it's lovely to see. There's definitely something going on with you fondling the like button, everybody, and hitting the like button, that it is putting us into the public eye, and people are seeing how to get a mortgage in Portugal, and then joining us, these new names that are here this morning. Thank you so much. Or your occasional visitors coming back for a bit of mortgage advice. Sorry, really. Moaz, one at your expense here, but I think you'll take this for the team. Sorry, feeling really bad with Moaz being the butt of our jokes this morning. Oh, Moaz, I think, has broad shoulders and will have been delighted to be part of the fun this morning. If not, please let me know, Moaz, and we'll make good on that. I'm going to share with you a little bit of consumer news from the papers. That's what we do, isn't it, sometimes on a Tuesday? We have a look at what's going on in the Portugal Resident and the Portugal News. We comb their headlines to see what's going on. And, of course, talk about anything you want to talk about. Memorize your NIF in Portuguese. That is a really good. I was about to trot mine out there, which apparently, and when we were talking to Nuno again last week on a different occasion. Is it safe to be shouting out your NIF number, your número de contribuinte here in Portugal in the supermarket? Because it's like shouting out your tax code, and some people will be a little bit reluctant to do so. Apparently not, no problem at all. And it's, of course, a great way of doing and learning your numbers, isn't it? So memorize your NIF number in Portuguese and proudly give it out rather than scrambling for that piece of paper that you've written it on inside your purse or wallet. And yes, it was me, says B. By the way, SEF appointment went great. Waiting now for my residency hard card. Yeah, well done, B. Great progress there. And thank you, Carl. What's a pleasure. Pleasure, Raj. What's the weather like at the minute, please, from Margaret Duffy? Great question, Margaret, because I was about to say before I interrupted myself, and before we go to the Portugal Resident and the Portugal News, let's take a look at that weather. Let's do that right now. Let me just bring up the right tab for that, and then I'll share that with you. Yes, it's a great idea, Margaret Duffy, another occasional visitor. Thank you very much for being here this morning. So let's answer that question for you. The weather at the minute, if I look outside of my window here on the Silver Coast, where we want to start a community garden, remember I showed you that a little bit earlier on. I invite anyone interested in doing so to come along to our Silver Coast meetup, which we have every Wednesday now between 1 and 3. Here in San Martino de Porto. Other venues may well be available in the future, but for the moment, I'm very happy to host that between 1 and 3 on a Wednesday. And I think we've got some new people coming tomorrow who are interested in looking at a community garden in this style. Look, this is the community garden idea. And there's a group on Facebook, by the way. And that's a lovely sign as you come into San Martino de Porto on the 242, on the A242, coming in from Nazaré. That lovely painted tile sign there, showing some signs of aging. But then again, aren't we all? Sal de Vosh, a bit more vocabulary for you there. San Martino welcomes you, as I understand it. Okay. Thank you very much, then, Margaret, for asking the question about the weather. Here it is, everybody. And Lisboa at the moment, we have a high today, a rainy day, broken clouds with a high of 17. and a low of 12. Currently 14, and that's 57. The current temperature in Fahrenheit, 63 the high and 54 the low. But looking rainy in the capital for the next few days, with a sunny day on Saturday, as you can see there. In Porto for Jim, 14 degrees currently, scattered clouds, 15 the high, 12 the low. Rain for as far as the eye can see. Oh no, letting up a little bit on Sunday. My goodness. Coimbra, central Portugal, 18 degree high today. That's more like it, isn't it? That's going to be nice and mild and warm, but it will be raining, broken clouds, and 13 at the moment, and raining for the rest of the week. And Saturday, a cloudy day on Sunday. Faro, 15 degrees, a few clouds. A little bit of sunshine peeking out from behind the clouds, Margaret. 15 degree high, 13 degree low, and rain for the rest of the week, with a let up on a cloudy day with a 17 degree high Sunday in Faro. If you want to know the specific weather in other districts, do let me know. Aveiro, Beja, Braga, Castelo Branco, Évora, Leiria, Santarém, Viseu, Bragança, Guarda, Porto Alegre, Setúbal, Viana do Castelo, and Villarreal, as well as the autonomous regions of the Azores and Madeira. Be my pleasure to do so for you. Okay, there you go, Margaret, the weather for you there. And let's have a look, shall we, at the front page, the virtual front page of the Portugal Resident. Let's see what's going on consumer-wise there on this Tuesday, the 22nd of March, 2022. Oh, it's palindromic again, isn't it? 220322. Let's bring the Resident onto the screen and see what's happening there, and just quickly check my Google Ads to see what's been. There isn't anything on here, it would appear, at the moment. Oh, interesting. We had a lot of environmental talk, as we often do, on the gardening show yesterday, and Lagos is joining in with the Lights Out event, which is quite sobering, really, isn't it? Lights Off Earth Hour movement. Lagos will be joining in with that. I wonder how many people of the town will be doing that. We'll have a closer look at that story. Before we do, let's go back quickly to your comments then. Jess will be here in 3 weeks. Glad to hear that, Jess. Excellent stuff. And lots of congrats coming in from B. That is great news. And what else did I just miss there? I have to admit, Moaz is all good. He laughed at the joke on him, and what a lovely turn of phrase. I haven't heard that for many a month or year. We friends of Dorothy don't mind these jokes. I love that phrase, friends of Dorothy. Dido here at Pamela Smith, even though not all able to do it, but at least the numbers are bigger. What does that mean? What does that mean, Antonio F? Dido here. Or is that a misprint? Is that a typo, I wonder? Do you have the link to the Access Finances to get the NIF printout? Oh, that's a good call. And that was something Pam said before. I have a printout from the Portal de Finances with my NIF. Shops can scan it as well. Oh, interesting bit of tech there. Oh, something else I wanted to tell you. And I'll just hold on a minute. Let me just take the Portugal Resident off the screen. This on Consumer Tuesday. I've got the MBWay app on my phone. Okay, and MBWay Multibanco, the cash machines here are amazing. You can do all sorts of things on the cash machine. If you've got the MBWay app, you can take money out without a card. All you need to do is press the green button on arrival at a cash machine here on the Multibanco. I think most of them. So you press the green button, the tecla verde, and then you get a QR code come up on the screen, which you can scan with your phone. And that's as good as getting access with your card, with your cash card and PIN number. I was quite taken by that and quite proud of myself for doing it as well. That's after the other month. Remember when I told you I helped a Portuguese lady pay a bill? And I'm a past master at that now. Oh, that's something else I wanted to tell you as well on Consumer Tuesday. Bear with me. And now, there are two things in this thing I'm about to tell you. I received a piece of mail. Make sure that the IMT have got your current address, of course, so that when you drive through a toll road and you don't realize you're doing it, a sendee will send you a bill for doing so. And I received one of these, and it was for the princely sum of 341. And would you believe I received this in March, quite recently, and it goes back to Entroncamento in August of last year. So quite extraordinary. It tells you when you were there, the date and the time, and it was 120 to go through the portaging, but the administrative costs are double that at 221, and the total amount is 341. Why am I telling you that? Because this is how, just to give you a little insight into how it works. There we go. If you with the multi-banco machine, you go to the pagamentos, and because it tells you that there. If you're ever at the multi-banco machine and you're not sure how to get in and which buttons to press to pay a bill that gets sent to you in this way with these three parts, you see there, you go into Pagamento de Servicios Compras button area of the multi-banco machine. You enter the entidad, which is a 5-figure number there, and you have 5 spaces to put that in. You have a referencia, and you have the value. I did that yesterday. Bill paid at the cash machine. Anything else I can help you with? Follow me on the Good Morning Portugal for more lifestyle tips like that here on Consumer Tuesday. So let's have a look at that Portugal resident, shall we? Oh, hold on a minute. Praia Norte in Nazaré from Chris to B. If you are still in town and like seafood, check out Aji del Mar in Nazaré, just at the end of the strip on the North Beach front. Lobster. It's quite simply. I think I like the sound of that. I must go there myself. Although I've got a favourite, Chris, and I don't know the name, but I will share that with you at some point. A little one tucked away in Nazaré, run by a lovely family. Thanks all. Highlight of the day so far. Good things coming my way. I wondered who that was. It's Suze who's changed her name. Typical tropical plants, taking tropical plants to the shop after the show. Sales are going gangbuster. Is that good? I think that is good. I didn't know you sold tropical plants. But that's pretty awesome. Jersey P is here. Hola, bon dia from beautiful Funchal. Nice one, Jersey P. On the move, or have you been there forever? I think Dido may have been meant to be ditto. Thank you, everyone, for translating each other's messages this morning. And that Dido regarded the fact they also have a NIF printout. It was a ditto from eFinanças. Even Portuguese people do that with the barcode and the NIF number, which is bigger and more readable in brackets there. Thank you, Antonio F., from a real Portuguese person, a life hack there. Helen, where have you been? Hello from Koh Samui this morning. How's it going, Helen? Lovely to see you here, and you're hoping to get to Portugal this year. And I thought this is what was being referred to. Didn't Dido sing a duet with Eminem? I want to thank you. I always choose to pay by multi-bank if possible. When buying online, feels much more secure than entering card details. So there you go. Yeah, all sorts you can do on the app as well. Let's go then, shall we, now to the Portugal resident. If we have time, we'll have a look at the Portugal news as well. 2 English-speaking newspapers. I use the term loosely, mostly an online representation. The Portugal News does publish once a week, but Portugal residents here. The Portugal resident is here with some news. Court's in danger of collapse. That's some consumer news right there, isn't it? What's all this about then? And I have to ask you, if you were going to court for any reason, would you feel confident that your piece of paper could be found in amongst those other pieces of paper there? That's an extraordinary scenario right there, isn't it? And let's have a look then. Staff complain they would earn more, does this say, as a supermarket cashier. Various Portuguese courts are in danger of collapse due to a growing lack of employees. This could lead to an even greater delay in services and more lapsing of judicial time limits. Yikes. This is a gist of a storyline online today, citing various news sources and officials of justice. Explains reporter Daniel Costa. Thank you very much, Natasha Don, for this. Published yesterday on the 21st of March. Daniel Costa, the situation is partly caused by low salaries, attracting fewer and fewer entries. This is the way things seem to work, isn't it? Another reason, or not, as the case may be, another reason is the dearth of promotional opportunities. One county court judge added that the current average age of officials working in his court was 55. Nothing wrong with that. But yes, there's not much young blood in there, is there? A wave of retirements now is generating serious delays in services, and it is not as if the Portuguese justice system has ever been known for alacrity. Good word. It is actually infamous for quite the opposite. Justice official Irene Pires is quoted as saying she has heard colleagues saying they would earn more as supermarket cashiers. So not a pretty picture being created there. Good for people who don't want to go to court and under that threat, I suppose, that there are delays. And how do you make that career attractive? As well as the haiku we're waiting for, can we please have some ideas on how, and maybe some dad jokes on how to make working in the courts more attractive to younger people. I suppose you've got to take that CSI angle, haven't you, on how it might be exciting to be working in the judicial system. Average age 55, quite extraordinary. Okay, so what else is going on here on the front page of the Portugal Resident? Moving to Portugal, an English conference that's happening there, exhibition. Neo-Nazi mission to Ukraine. I'm looking for the actual consumer stuff this morning. As much as the eye is drawn to certain things, seismic activity in Zurich Island higher than normal. What else is here? Oh, Lagos joins Lights Off Earth Hour movement. I want to find out a bit more about that, unless I see something else that takes our fancy here. It looks like the food and fuel crisis has just dropped off the front page for a little while. Oh, this is good to have on Consumer Tuesday. What's going on here with COVID at the moment? Portugal is bucking Europe's COVID trend, apparently. Well, that's good news. Cases and deaths reduce in all regions. We are on a different path to other countries. For all the talk of a sixth wave, sorry, I must have missed out on that memo. What sixth wave are we talking about here? Portugal, so far, in brackets, seems to be bucking the current upwards COVID swing in the rest of Europe. The latest figures, now given weekly on Fridays, confirm that we are not living through another wave or even a small epidemic ripple. Sounds like a new ice cream, doesn't it? Carlos Antunes of Lisbon University's Faculty of Sciences has admitted cases, deaths, hospital admissions, incidents, and RT are all falling, albeit slightly. But, and there is always a but, going back to Moaz, what is being flagged is a growing tendency of level of incidence in people aged 50 or over. Considering it is the older age groups that have been most vaccinated, even boosted against COVID-19, this is potentially worrying. But as victims are not suffering serious consequences, specialists are not sounding any alarms. And in brackets, yet. According to today's report in Carreiro de Manhã, the crushing majority of deaths due to COVID-19, that was 111 in 1, 2, 3. I don't know what that means. Registered in the last week between March 18th and 14th were in people over the age of 70. Okay, so horrible for them and their families, but the bigger trend there, it would appear, Portugal is bucking the European COVID trend there. Good news coming out of Portugal, if you can make good news of such a situation. Okay, let's look at the Portugal news now, shall we? Quick check-in with your comments, see what's going on there. Susie Q liking my multi-banco or MBWay advice there. Yeah, the app is quite extraordinary, it really is. And B, hold on a minute. I think I need to backtrack a little bit. The words are portagem and portagem. Thank you, Maxine, for pronunciation notes this morning. It's not portagem. Portagem and referencia. I hope I've got that right now. I do watch my favorite show. Oh, Helen, how lovely. And we're scrolling back here. B, the best Indian food in Lower Nazaré, Little India. I didn't know about that. You must have said that before. Excellent news again on Consumer Tuesday. Thank you, Rebel Mama, for that. Mental note made, Little India. Big meal, Little India. Oh, that sounds like a good combination, doesn't it? Thanks, Moaz. Unfortunately, I'm here all week. And not in Portugal. Our goal is to meet up with Vitor Costa once we get there. Us Canadians would melt in the Algarve. I think there's some truth in that. T-Duck's still going. I mean, if we do have our charity fundraiser, we need one of these, don't we, every sort of 15 minutes or so. Mrs. Duck asked me why I never buy her flowers. I was stunned. I didn't even know she sold flowers. Now, that is good. I do like that one. I think I might have heard it before, T-Duck, but it's very, very good, isn't it? Okay. Honestly, we have been to Nazaré 3 times in the last 6 months. Check you out. On the last trip, we had dinner there 4 nights in a row. Couldn't resist it. So that is the Aki seafood restaurant, isn't it? From the port to the plate in 15 minutes. Superb. Pay them. That is the feedback coming from Prof. Saber. Yes, pay the young people well, and they might want to work inside the judicial system. Now, there's an idea. If you want to get people excited about courts, mention that there are lots of opportunities to get into people's briefs. My goodness, I didn't do what you suggested there, but I really should have. And this is for you and retrospective for Thunderduck.
Warning.
You deserve that. Lots of opportunities to get into people's briefs. Will that be enough to get young people back into working in the courts? I have the CTT app. That's a post office app to check electronic tolls. As I don't use toll roads very often, that's good, isn't it? And bravo, Carl, from Maxine the Linguist. Cunning Linguist there, Maxine. Thank you. I do appreciate you pointing out my wrongdoing when it comes to pronunciation. No problem with that at all. Let's go just then briefly in the last minutes of the show here on Consumer Tuesday. Tomorrow, of course, it's Ask Anything About Portugal. The doc is back, everybody. Everyone's favourite Marxist. Is that the best way to describe him? XGP and all-round good egg living in Leiria. He can talk about life in Leiria, which may well be the title of his autobiography or one of the chapters in it. So live from Leiria tomorrow, more than likely. It's the doc. Joining us, Vitor Costa, aforementioned, will be with us on Thursday, and Mia, I'm hoping, will be with us for a bit of Portuguese, more lingo and linguistic skill and cultural insight on Friday from Mia. So let's have a look then at the Portugal news, shall we? And who's that? Appeal against Machado travelling to Ukraine. When I saw that picture, I'm immediately thinking that is looks like a police picture. May not be the case. Let's not do that. This person a disservice. Earlier this month, it is, Maria Machado has been linked to several far-right organisations announced on this. Let's just give that a miss, shall we? Wanting to travel to the Ukraine. Okay. Oligarchs' property and planes in Portugal questioned, not, what's the word? What is it that teachers do to your stuff? I can't, the word is not there for me at the moment, but on the consumer front, tidal wave of demand from Brits in 2020. Well, there's nothing new in that. Only a joke, fellow Brits there, with your tidal wave of demands. Portugal becoming happier. Okay, let's go here, shall we? This is the right thing to be reading out this morning, not those first things I started with, but that serves me right for looking at the media. Portugal becoming happier. Thank you for this good news story. Portugal News reported here via TPN and Lusa. Portugal has once again risen in the happiness world rankings. Well, hey! Only 56 in the world. What? 2022 World Happiness Ranking, prepared by the United Nations, aims to measure the degree of happiness of citizens among 146 countries based on 6 different criteria. GDP per capita, the expectation of a healthy life. Your comments welcome on this. Social support, individual freedom, generosity, and the perception of corruption. Oh, I see. According to this ranking, Portugal now occupies 56th place, up 2 positions. So straight in at 56 from 58 compared to last year's charts. In 2019, Portugal climbed 11 positions, rising to 66th place, having then risen. It's just burning its way through this chart. 59th and now 56th in the rankings here. Let's find out a bit more. For the 5th year in a row, Finland, look at this, Suze. Finland has been crowned as the happiest country in the world, and she's moving from number 1 to number 56. This is all very subjective, isn't it? With scores substantially above other countries. Still on the podium are Denmark and Iceland, and in the top 10 are Switzerland, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Sweden, Norway, Israel, and New Zealand. Over the past 10 years, the biggest increases in this ranking have occurred in Serbia, Bulgaria, and Romania, while the biggest declines have been recorded in Lebanon, Venezuela, and Afghanistan, as you might understand and expect there. The authors also point out that they detected, on average, an upward to moderate long-term trend in terms of stress, worry, and sadness in most countries, as well as a slight long-term decline in the quality of life. Yikes. This is and we do like to see the comments in the Portugal news. I think you need to revisit the content of this article. You boast that Portugal is a happier place to live than Ukraine and Russia. Really? Yes, maybe that wasn't thought through very well there. But I'm trying to find out more about Portugal specifically, and I don't think it's there, everybody. Well, that's a little bit disappointing, isn't it? 700 earthquakes in 24 hours. They kept that quiet. I was suspecting their little tremors. And finally, then, this excellent news on Consumer Tuesday. Diesel and petrol prices went down yesterday, didn't they? In Portugal, it will cost €1.80, nearly 81 cents per litre of diesel, and $1.90 per litre of petrol. According to a report by Eco, the average price of a barrel of Brent dictated a drop of 17 cents per litre for diesel and 13 cents per litre for gasoline. To this value, it was supposed to add a few more cents, 2.6 and 2 cents respectively, referring to the tax on petroleum products, the ISP, because the new form of calculation created by the executive determined that this tax would vary. I hope you're keeping up with this, would vary according to the evolution of VAT revenue. Right? And now, if fuel prices go down, then the ISP should go up. But taking into account the circumstances of uncertainty regarding the evolution of the conjuncture, as well as the expectation of coordinated responses at European level, what? The government chose not to update the ISP this week, and instead they will maintain the temporary discount. Well, thank goodness for that. And that's just a really complicated way of saying, I think, that diesel and petrol prices went down yesterday in Portugal. And that's an interesting quirk. Enjoy it while it lasts. Are there any comments? No, nothing there yet on that, on prices. People prefer to comment on bad news, I think, don't they? Or they turn good news into bad news. Well, it won't last. Okay, so back to the front page then of the Portugal news just finally. It's 10 o'clock, everybody. You should go back to work now. Get onto Microsoft Teams. Have your meetings. And don't smash those likes on your company texts. You can if you want. See what happens. Let me know what happens tomorrow with that when we're here with the doc on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. So bad weather leads to incidents across the country. There was a bad weather warning, wasn't there? I can't see any more consumer stuff that I want to share with you apart from real estate appraisers on strike. It's a savage blow, isn't it? And shining a light on Portugal's artistic talent. I like the look of that, but it's just slipped out of my way there. Let me just bring that back. I want to finish on this, which I hope will be a high note. The Sovereign Portuguese Art Prize was launched in 2021 to increase the international exposure of artists in Portugal or of Portuguese diaspora, the Portuguese diaspora, whilst raising funds for arts education programs in the country. So what's happening here? The prize in Portugal, the success of the prize in Asia has since been replicated around the world. And now for the first time, it is being run in Portugal. The aim of the prize, and I wonder, do we enter here as an art collective? Should we start a new artistic movement and claim this 25 grand that's available here? Over 200 entries were submitted in Portugal for the prize, and this has now been narrowed down to a shortlist. Oh, we're too late. Where the grand prize is the 25k and the public vote prize 2,000 with the grand prize winner to be announced on the 12th of April. Stay tuned to find out more. Let's have a quick look at this, though. Of all the 30 chosen finalists, all of the 30 chosen finalists have their works displayed on the Art Foundation website, and members of the public are able to vote for their favorite by clicking on their favorite image. Should we have a quick look at these? Yes, okay, so here they are. That looks like a toilet seat. It probably isn't, though. That, I think you have to kind of be near. There's a girl eating a bird's head. I think it's quite modern and conceptual, safe to say. It's not a toilet seat. A close-up of someone playing tennis, possibly. That's quite Hockney-esque, isn't it? Some mandrills, are they? Some primates. They looks like the man cave, doesn't it? It looks like a man cave on a Friday night. That's a landscape, I think. There, a balaclava, a knitted balaclava. There, I quite like that. I'm not sure if it's worth 25k, but you have to understand the backstory, don't you? With so many of these conceptual art projects, and another one there, which looks like a screenshot of my gallery of collection of photographs on my phone from a recent stay at an Airbnb. However, I'm sure there is a backstory that would give you a lot more enjoyment and understanding of what's gone on there. So we may return to that on the 12th of April to find out who won that. It could be fun, couldn't it? Thank you so much for being here this morning. Let's take the Portugal news off the screen and wish you a great day today. We're talking about price of gas here, aren't we? What makes the Finnish people the happiest 5 minutes row is beyond me, says Suze, who actually lives there. And thank the gods that Doc will be in tomorrow, my favourite leftist. There you go. I want to hear him and Thunder on the same show. Bring it on! I think they are united in their love of humour. But let's see what happens tomorrow. Tune in for the clash, the ideological clash that may well happen tomorrow. And I'm organising an art exhibit here in Bangkok to promote an artist. Funds go to charity. Tell us more, Helen. Come back tomorrow and give us more on that, if you will. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. It's been fun as ever. Hold on a minute. Aidan's here. I just came across this stream. I know Portugal has a rep as somewhere to retire. What is it like for people in their 20s? Just graduated college? Are there English-speaking jobs in Porto and Lisbon? There most certainly are, Aidan. And there are some jobs going to be available in the court system quite soon, I think. And you have the opportunity to look into people's briefs. I think we've sold that to Aidan, quite possibly there. Aidan, come back tomorrow and we'll talk more about your prospects here in Portugal. We need young people, bright young people like yourself. So do come back. You're most welcome here, Aidan Corbett. Thank you. I think smashing the likes has helped. We have new people among us. Don't be afraid, Aidan. Come back tomorrow. And we will see you all then, everybody. Ciao for now. We'll see you with the doc tomorrow. Vitor on Thursday and Mia on Friday. Ciao, ciao. Hasta luego. Hasta próxima. Ciao. Adios.